Well, for more on this, I'm joined by Jon Regardie of Los Angeles Magazine. Jon, you were in the courtroom today. As we just heard, the judge really took aim at Mark Ridley-Thomas for failing to show remorse. What was his reaction and just overall his whole demeanor?
Mark Ridley-Thomas did briefly address the judge today, and he spoke very slowly, very somberly, very seriously. There was not really much of a reaction once the verdict was announced, but it was clear how serious this was being taken by him and everyone else in that courtroom during this tense day.
Well, he is a career politician. In fact, you were on the air the night that he was indicted in October of 2021. You were with Alex and Christine. He will be 69 years old when he reports to prison November the 13th. His birthday is November 6th, according to what I saw. He'll be 69 years old. By the time this is all said and done, he'll be basically in his mid-70s. Is his professional life over with?
His career in elected office is most likely done. That said, what I think is important to mention is that there are still a lot of supporters. There were more than 100 people packed into this courtroom today, and there will be people who will be standing by him when that prison term is completed. It's impossible to know what will be in the future for him, but clearly a sizable, significant portion of Los Angeles is standing with him and has throughout this whole 22-month legal process.
And we heard just there that from his defense team that they're going to be filing an appeal, so we'll see what comes of that. Do we know where he will be serving his time?
That's not been determined yet. There was no mention of that. The Bureau of Prisons will communicate that with him before he's required to report on November 13th.
Okay. Heather Hutt has been appointed to take over his 10th district. What does this all mean for her?
Well, Heather Hutt now is running for election. That election is next year. The primary is in March. She has a contested election. Reggie Jones-Sawyer, who's in the state legislature, he's running for the seat. Multiple other people are running for the seat, including Grace Yu, who's run for that. So, she is going to have to get out there and try to convince the 260,000 constituents in the 10th district that she deserves the seat, but so will others. It's going to be fierce and contested. Hard to tell at this point who's going to, who's going to win that seat next year.
Okay, in our final minute, I know that you've been doing some reporting on Bernard Parks, former LAPD chief and also former city councilman. What do you have to say about that?
Bernard Parks came out, there were about 130 letters of support for Ridley-Thomas sent to the judge. Bernard Parks sent a letter to the judge urging that she sentence him to more than 6 years, which was what prosecutors had been recommending. That ended up causing a little bit of hot water because there was a protest from allies of Ridley-Thomas charging that he had used the city seal on that letter, even though he was no longer a council member, and the city clerk did order a cease and desist for him not to communicate with the city seal on that. But ultimately, the judge went with something less than the 6 years and more than the probation that Ridley-Thomas's team was pushing for.
Well, you've had quite a day being in that courtroom today and witnessing history, really. Jon Regardie of Los Angeles Magazine, thank you so much, as always.
Thank you, Marla.